Dr. Curre, it's Tubby Doc here. I want to review the Garmin with you on what's so cool about the Garmin Connect here. So after doing a hard workout this morning around the track, you can see today's activity. And I was doing some interval training. On the very bottom is the oldest stuff, and the most recent is up top, and did some cool down. And so what's unique about Garmin and what I like about it is I'm going to go click on this Frisco, the 1.1 mile that I ran hard on. You can see the average heart rate and also your average pace. So this is like a global overview. I put myself out of evaluation. Didn't carb load. It was really tough because I didn't prep correctly. And so that's why my performance really should have been good, because the temperature was 54 degrees. It was perfect running weather. Really should have been able to crush that mile time. Stats, you look at that, it'll give you your pace, your speed. So 7 miles per hour, that correlates to the same speed on the treadmill. And then the timing there, the run walk detection, and the graphs are better for this, but look at the heart rate. This is what's cool, is it tells you what the max you hit and also your average. And you can also see some stats about elevation and so forth going down. I don't pay too much attention to the calories. I eyeball it a little bit so you can get a gauge, and I like that rule about 100 calories per mile when you're running, right? So laps. Now, I have my lap set up at a quarter mile, and so you can see I like having that assessment, and the rule of an 8-minute pace would be a 2-minute per quarter. And so that kind of tells me when I'm running and look at my watch how I'm doing. And so when you hit like 205, I know I'm on an 820 pace, and you'll get used to these numbers as you review this data, if you're going to get into more of a performance, if you move from that athletic to elite level. As you can see, the first lap I did at a 207. I wanted to pace myself at 8:30, and then I start going a little bit faster. At least I attempt to do. The second lap, I picked it up a little bit. The third lap started dying, hit a 209, and then the fourth lap, you can see that's when I started running out of energy. Now you can correlate it to your heart rate. That's what the charts are for. Look at the pace. So you can see I was running a pretty fast pace in that first 2 minutes, and I said, hey, too fast, slow down. And then I started trying to pick it up the second minute. Looking down at heart rate, you can see I'm getting close to maximum heart rate right away, which is, that's a sign of a couple things. If you're hitting max heart rate, you're either deconditioned, so your vagal tone's very bad, you could be dehydrated, or in my case, this time I did not have enough carbs, and it could have been a hydration issue. There's the elevation change, and you can see how it was kind of focused because I was on a track. Track was pretty flat, so there's only a change of about 3 feet there. Cadence is kind of an interesting thing that they have there. So this is sort of like your stride length. I don't get too much into that. And then you can see for that whole time I ran, this was in run mode. If you saw the Norwegian one that I did, you'll see a run and a walk. The best stuff is this heart rate stuff. Look at zone 4 to zone 5. And it gives you the beats, so you can see there the range. And if you're in zone 4 to zone 5, you're pretty good. You're pushing it. And so if you hit the question mark in that right corner in training with heart rate zones, they give you the definition of these zones right there. So zone 4 is 80 to 90%. So Norwegian protocol was like 85% or higher, something like that. So pretty much if you're in zone 4, you're good. Now you could reprogram this if you want. This is what I like most. Oh, we forgot about distance. Look at the distance. Okay, there we go. So you can change it to distance rather than time. And you can see your pace on distance. So that's a pretty good assessment too. And you can see your heart rate, right? You can see at the very end how high my heart rate was at that 1 mile point. I was hurting pretty bad. Gear. So this is my current shoe. And so you can see I have 92 miles. I programmed at 200 miles. So after gathering a lot of data, it's about 200 miles is what I put. It's defaulted to 400 usually, so you can adjust that. And so I'm about halfway done with this shoe. I like tracking the mileage on my shoe like an odometer. So after years, decades of gathering data myself, I know that shoes need to be changed out around 200 for me. I start thinking about it around 150, especially if I've been doing a lot of concrete running. If I've been doing more treadmill running, then those shoes can usually go up to 200. But you can start figuring that data out on yourself if you track the data. Garmin does make it nice and easy. I know I sound like I'm a big fan of Garmin. I am. I don't actually own their stock though. Probably should go buy their stock. Hope that helps for the Garmin review, and you can see how much I like this. Last thing is this calendar, and you can go back. It gives you the ability to reflect how many times you did exercise, and you could go back and look at your calendar through this way, it's another way to get feedback. I don't use it too often, but it's a good way to go back and say, hey, did I get an activity done, and so forth. So hope that helps. I'll see you at the next video. Tubby Doc out.